Hey, it's DeagleBeagle, and today we're going to look at the top teams from I think it's called Natal, a regional in, it looks like Brazil. Let's see, Natal, Brazil. It's a city in Brazil. It's, okay, so it's on the eastern side of Brazil near the ocean. Okay, anyways, Gabriel Agati or something like that. He's very well known internationally. I don't recognize the other names, but Gabriel Agati's been playing for a long time and he's very good. So he won this regional, and let's look at some of the teams because I don't think anyone's really covering this. To go to this VGC pace repository, I'll probably put the link if I can in the video description, but basically a shared drive with whoever wants to. You could probably just look it up. VGC paste repository. Um, you could probably get a VGC Poke paste or some place to find it. Anyways, repository. I don't even know what that means. Probably a storage of stuff, receptacle where things are stored. Okay, whatever. So Gabriel's team is this. Now, I have criticized Amoongus with Terra Water in the past, but I guess I don't need to be super critical this video. But it is weak to freeze dry, whether it tears or not, so that's a huge drawback of it when Iron Bundle is one of the most common Pokemon now. So Terra Water, someone else was explaining it to me that did really well in the Taiwan regionals. He said, even though Amoonguss is already resistant to water, you might want Terra Water in case you have to, for example, survive a Flare Blitz from an Arcanine and a Palafin at the same time. But the thing that, I don't know, that, yeah, maybe that's fine, but to me, generally you're supposed to use a Terra that resists as many things as you're weak to as possible. And then after that, it usually doesn't matter that much. But maybe I'm going to reconsider that because maybe it is true that water in some cases is better because after you Terra to survive that hit, you might have to survive a hit from their allies. And I'm kind of finding that out with Terra Water, or sorry, Terra Rock Amoonguss, is that yes, it may survive the Brave Bird, but what about the Earthquake follow up? So it just depends. And let's look at his team. Choice Band, Terrifier. I wonder. So he did say that Garchomp was underrated, and it is. Choice Band is risky though because Earthquake hits your allies, but I suppose he could use Stomping Tantrum instead. But then it's like, I don't know. I just have to. You or anybody has to switch moves a lot with Garchomp, but not always. So Band isn't bad. It's just I don't know if I would use it. I would probably use Smooth, uh, or no, Soft Sand. I mean, and Protect maybe. Dragon Claw you won't almost ever use. In fact, you might even want to use Outrage, but since it has more power from Band, maybe Dragon Claw is better on the Band set than Outrage. So, Terra Dark, huh. Well, that doesn't help that much defensively, besides makes your fighting weakness a 2 times weakness instead of 4 times, but it's probably mostly used to power up the dark moves. And then Dragonite with Terra Flying, that's pretty standard. Lumberry, he must not like Will-O-Wisp. Okay, Terra Flying is pretty good. I tried that. Morning Sun, I haven't really tried. I wonder how bulky it is. We'll never quite know. And the Arcanine Safety Goggles plus Amoonguss is a really good combo, especially with Pollen Puff. I faced that, and that was annoying. So overall, pretty decent team. He does have one immunity to Earthquake at least. And King Gambit, I'm not. King Ambit is like, it's fine. It's probably meant to counter the Icy Wind spam versus the Garchomp and the Dragonite, so I understand it, but even if King Ambit gets a boost, it's not necessarily going to be super good when they have like with the Terra Dark, it's still going to be weak to close combat from a Tusk, so they could just like Icy Wind and even later close combat. And Tusk resist Dark and it has a lot of defense, so I don't know, but it worked out for him, I guess. Okay, and then maybe it's just kind of the bluff that they don't want to Icy Wind. Oops. So this is the second place team, Juan Salerno. Pretty standard. They're seeing the standard kind of being water, unless it's on the choice spec set. Then it's usually steel. But people have realized that keeping Goldango alive is really important, especially if you use Nasty Plot. And Terra Dark looks like it's another way to counter Indeedee Armorage. Pretty standard stuff. The third place team is this. Now, we don't see an ape, but we do see weakness policy Goldango. But the problem with that is there's no way to self proc it, I believe, on this team, unless you want to hit it hard with the flamethrower. He's using Terra Steel, so maybe it's fine because he is using Mouse Hold with Friend Guard and Follow Me, but I don't know. It might make sense for more offense, but they can still Earthquake or Heat Wave you and super affect you no matter what. But maybe he wasn't worried that much about that. I'm seeing a lot of Terranormal on like everything now. Like, not just, yeah, just everything. Like, even on Armor Rouge. That's kind of funny. Um, I guess people just want a Terra, like a bland Terra, I call it, where it's like, it's not necessarily going to resist anything, but it's just going to be consistent. Like, it's going to take neutral from a lot of stuff. But on Armor Rouge, it actually makes more sense than on other Pokemon because it's weak to Shadow Ball, like Ghost. So normal is definitely, it definitely makes sense. It's just, I'm trying to figure out this set. I think he's trying to piggyback off of other Indeedee Armor Rouges because he doesn't even have Trick Room. It's like, I mean, he does have Flash Fire. Maybe that's also why he uses Terra Steel Goldango, because he's like, well, if they fire attack me, I can switch in Armor Rouge or whatever. I agree with Terra Fire Brute Bonnet. It gives it some good resist, like versus Fairy and Will-O-Wisp and Flare Blitz. So definitely agree on that. He doesn't run Earthquake. Yeah, which makes sense on this team because he doesn't have an Earthquake immunity. So, makes sense. I would probably prefer Charm over Baby Doll Eyes because, yes, Baby Doll Eyes has priority, but it only lowers it one stage of their attack. And, well, it depends on how fast this Mouse Hold is. It's probably not very fast, so maybe Baby Doll Eyes is better, but on a faster one, Charm is maybe better. Alright, the fourth team. Oh yeah, I never even looked at, some of these might even have EV spreads. I don't know. I don't think the other ones did. I would have probably noticed it. But this one does. So, Sylveon with Terra Water is good to wall what it's weak to. Wonder what this walls exactly. It might wall an Iron Head from King Ambit or something, or some other steel move. Let's see. Sylveon 172 and 20. It might wall a King Ambit Ironhead, but I think it would need more than that. Yeah, it would. No, it's something else. I don't know, but or maybe it's kind of random, but I don't know. I would have to ask him. So, Terrifier is good on King Ambit for walling Arcanine and Will-O-Wisp. Brick Break for the screens and other things that are 4 times weak to fighting, or 2 times, whatever. And Roaring Moon, pretty standard. I'm seeing a lot of Citrus Berry. Mousehold taunt possibly for the Moongus, but personally, I don't know. I might want to use safety goggles just to be safe, but whenever they don't have like a grass Pokemon or Spore, then safety goggles is kind of useless. So I can kind of see the Citrus taunt one, but they could use Mental Herb though. I don't know. I mean, he does have Roaring Moon, but yeah, most don't use Mental Herb, but like I don't know. It seems like a third of them do. And Arcanine probably meant to counter King Ambit, or sorry, Indeedee Armarouge, but if they're smart, they're gonna counter Snarl with something like King Ambit, Ape, Weakness Policy, something. So all these people that are using like Arcanine to counter Indeedee Armarouge, they may be good players, but like they're only probably beating bad players that use Indeedee Armarouge with that. Like they're probably not going to beat that many great players with it because they're going to counter that because it's one of the most common things to get snarled. And then Sandy Shock's Terabug. It does have less weaknesses than grass, but he might want the grass to wall a spore. But if he doesn't really need to wall a spore or need to resist certain things, like grass is better at resisting certain things, but it has more weaknesses than bug. But I'd still say overall it's better than bug, unless you have a bug type stab, because just grass is just better usually defensively, but not always, with the increase of Glabora and whatnot, and maybe Baxcalibur. But I don't know, bug, grass, whatever. It's probably not going to make a huge difference. But Terra Bug, okay, so he is using Terra Blast, so maybe that factors into why he used Bug, because Terra Bug Blast, Terra Blast Bug, whatever, is good for super affecting actually grass Pokemon. So yeah, actually that's a pretty good idea. It's Bug super effects. What is it? Grass, Psychic, Grass, Psychic, and Dark. Okay, that makes sense. Life Orb, because he already has the booster energy. Okay, let's go to the next team. Wait, I thought I went. No, that is the fourth team. I just went over that. And then Andre Fumis or something like that. So, Perish Trap. This looks about the right EVs to wall to try to wall both King Ambit and Shadow Ball at least some percentage of the time. Speed creep. A lot of people keep putting 4 or 12 or something on it. And then Terrifier with safety goggles is pretty neat. So that you counter a Moongus, but then you also counter Will-O-Wisp. So actually I kinda like this set. Except instead of all that, why not just he's using Fire Punch. That's funny. Instead of Wild Charge or Thunder Punch. I don't know about that. Maybe yeah, that makes sense if you're trying to counter a Moongus. That's actually pretty neat. I'm gonna write that down really quick. Terrifier hands with safety goggles. But he could alternatively just use Lumberry and wall those two things, and then even use Fire Punch or Ice Punch still. But I don't know. I think I would just use Terra Grass with hands, because otherwise, if you use Terra Fire, you're still weak to ground. And I don't know about that. That just makes it really easy to counter when you know they can't do anything about a ground move. So, I don't know. Maybe it works though. Okay, the next team using Spexicle Dingo. Normally it's used with Murkrow, but he's wanting to use Talonflame with it. That is actually a decent idea. I'm not sure about that though. I'll have to test that out also, because traditionally it's been run with Murkrow. And let's see the rest of it. The team. I've seen Sleep Talk become common now to counter like Spore after Dondozo dies. He uses Steel and Sub. I don't know about that. I would probably do one or the other, probably not both. But maybe it makes sense, because typically the things that super affect Steel are physical, which has more like defense than special defense. But if you're gonna run Steel and Sub, I don't know. I just think maybe a different Terror type than if you're gonna run Sub. Like, if you just want a good defensive Terror type that isn't weak to anything, it just takes neutral hits. Normal would probably be better, but Grass, Fire, other ones make sense too. I don't know. Not the Dondozo expert, but I don't know about Steel with Sub. And then Terra Grass, that's pretty unique on Great Tusk. He must have gotten Spored before. So, yeah, it makes sense. Most people, though, run Terra Grass on Bundle instead, because they don't typically need the extra ice power. But with Great Tusk, it often could use more ground power, so I don't know. And then, I don't know if we should go over all these teams. Maybe I could. Yeah, I'll just be really quick with it. Pretty standard. I don't know if you really need Taunt with safety goggles though. Maybe to counter other stuff besides just Spore, like Trick Room, but who knows. And then Tiago. We're seeing a lot of bulky Flutter Mains. I think people are realizing if you keep it around longer, then and you use bulk, you don't need a sash, and it's just worth it to get 2 hits off instead of 1. Another Corviknight with fire. Yeah, I was telling people, why the heck are you using Turret Dragon when you can just get Will-O-Wisp? So Terra Fire or Lum seems like mandatory almost on Corviknight, and Corviknight's been doing really well in tournaments now that they actually use the right Terra Fire. That's why I trusted myself. I'm like, Terra Fire just makes way more sense. Okay, Tauros. It's a different Intimidator than people are used to. The good thing about Tauros is you can outspeed and one-shot their Arcanine if you switch it in at the right time, and it's still decent. But I mean, he is using Sash, so that mitigates all the Flutter Mane and stuff, so maybe it's fine. But I would probably use the Tauros Fire or Arcanine, not like Tauros Water, but maybe it's fine. And then the same one again, the Calm Mindset with Leftovers, except he's using Grass instead of like normal or whatever it was. And then Brute Bonnet, why the heck is it flying? Because it already resists grounds. I guess it's just to resist fighting, but I don't know about that. I don't think I would use flying. I think if you're trying to resist like Tusk, use a different typing than fly. I don't know. Maybe like Ghost or something, but I guess he wants to wall both like all of Tusk's moves when he terras, so maybe it's fine. I don't know about that one though. And then I guess this is fine. Terra Steel, that's easier to counter because you don't have a defensive Terra. So I don't know about this because he does have at least Icy Wind support for the speed control, but I just think a defensive Terra on Goldango usually makes sense, but maybe on Murkrow or speed control you don't need it if you just use sheer power. So yeah, see, Terra Fire is just good on Terra Fire and Grass are probably the two most common Terras, but Terra Water is probably the third because it's just good against things in general, Palafin too, and stuff. And typically they don't freeze dry the Pokemon that have Terra Water, except if it's like a Mungus because it's already weak to it. So it's good for resisting like steel moves and not having a lot of weaknesses in general, or a stab move resisting water. So makes sense, except why is he using wild charge? I guess he could use that versus like water Pokemon like Palafin. And this one, these teams look similar, but they have a few changes like Covert Cloak or whatever. Um, my friend and I were using Terra Normal, and then all of a sudden everyone else started using it. So I don't think they're necessarily copying it. I think it's just they also realize it has low things that it's weak to, only fighting, which it already naturally resists, and you are immune to Ghost, and you can even bluff it. So I like the Terra Normal on Goth, and so does my friend and others. Can I even open this one? Yeah. Clear Amulet, huh? Oh yeah, that's a good way to beat Icy Wind. Clear Amulet, and what was the other one? Covert Cloak. Yeah. So this does beat the Intimidate Mirror and Icy Winds and whatever. So I don't know if it's worth it though to use Clear Amulet with Arcanine, but maybe it is. And then the rest of it kind of makes sense. Terra Water is a really good Terra on Fluttermane. I don't know why people were using Steel. It's fine, but Water's just probably better because it has like less weaknesses, and that's mostly it. Yeah, less weaknesses and resist the same things that you need to resist, like Steel. Close combat, huh? Okay, pretty standard. Not much to say about this one. Terra Steel, Goldango's a little risky on the defensive side, but if you get speed control, then it's better offensively. I'm surprised this guy isn't using Terra Blast. I guess maybe he just figures I don't really want to Terra a Lumberry Dragonite, even though it has a decent attack. So he just went with Aerial Ace. I don't know. Maybe. Wait, where's his Tailwind at? He's using Specs with Steel. I guess you don't necessarily need it, but you might want it. Smooth Rock Tyrant. Oh, I know why he's using that for Sandvale. That's funny. But I don't know if it's worth. Yes, that and Lycanroc Terra type fighting for close combat, huh? I guess. Okay, Murkrow. Murkrow. Yeah, Murkrow is might be better than Talonflame on a Garchomp Tyranitar team because Tyranitar gets rid of the Gale Wings and whatnot. So that can make sense because you don't always want to break your own Gale Wings with Sandstorm. So that's why I was thinking of Murkrow with it too. Add a team with it. But Terra type Steel, that does resist Fairy. So maybe it's okay, but I don't know about that one. That's just like you would never tear that, probably. So I don't know about that Terra, but it does wall Fairy moves. And okay, defensive Terra leftovers. Somewhat standard. We're seeing a lot of these Goldango Roaring Moon combos because they work pretty well together, typing wise, offensively and maybe defensively too. So, yeah, I've seen a lot of the same teams, like a lot of hands, a lot of Goldango Roaring Moons, etc. So, thanks for watching. I think this is it for Natal. Oh, there's a little bit more of the stats. So Fluttermane, Iron Hands, Arcanine Bundle. I mean, yeah, these look similar to other regionals, except certain Pokemon were used a little bit more than the past. Like before, it's been like Bundle and other stuff that has been used more. So it's just the culture of, I think, Brazil. They like to use these things more, a little bit more than other places. So thanks for watching. Check out my Discord, and I'll be uploading more videos soon. Have a great day. Bye.